Let's be real for a second. Work-life balance is a myth. That's right, you heard me. The world's been feeding you this lie that if you just work hard enough, plan enough, and juggle enough, you can somehow achieve this perfect balance between your career and personal life. But guess what? That's not how it works. And in this video, I'm going to show you a more realistic, practical approach to managing both without burning out or sacrificing your happiness. Because let's face it, there's no one-size-fits-all formula for balance. It's about finding what actually works for you. So if you're tired of trying to keep up with impossible expectations and are ready to take control of your time, your energy, and your life, stick around. I'm diving deep into pragmatic strategies that you can start using today to break free from the grind and actually create a life that feels aligned. Trust me, this isn't the same old advice. We're getting real, and I guarantee you'll walk away with tools you can actually use. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss this. Number 1. Ditch perfectionism. Embrace done over. Perfect. Let's talk about something a lot of us struggle with but hardly admit. Perfectionism. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I want to do my best. And trust me, I get that. We all do. But here's the thing. Perfectionism isn't actually helping you. In fact, it might be doing the exact opposite. You know the type. You start a project with so much energy and excitement, but then you hit a snag. Maybe it's that one detail that just has to be perfect, or that one mistake that you can't shake off. Suddenly you're stuck, spinning in circles, unable to finish. You've been there, right? Hours of overthinking, tweaking, editing, until you're not even sure what the perfect version looks like anymore. Sound familiar? Here's the kicker. Done is better than perfect. Yep, I said it. Done. Over. Perfect. It's not some half-hearted excuse to throw in the towel early. It's about getting your ideas out there, finishing what you start, and giving yourself permission to move forward without being held hostage by a pursuit of flawlessness. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. Perfectionism is rooted in fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failing, fear of not being good enough. But here's what we often overlook. We can't grow if we don't let go of that constant need to be perfect. When you aim for done, you allow yourself to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. You embrace progress over paralysis. The longer you hold on to that idea of perfection, the longer you're robbing yourself of the satisfaction of actually finishing something. Let me give you an example. A few months ago, I had a video project I was working on. This huge video for a client. I started off with grand ideas of how perfect everything would be. The colors, the timing, the music. But the more I worked on it, the more I found myself nitpicking every transition, every sound, every detail. It got to a point where I wasn't even enjoying the process anymore. I was just stuck, endlessly tweaking things no one would even notice. One day, I decided to say, you know what? This is good enough. It's done. And guess what? The client loved it. They didn't care about the 5 extra seconds I spent adjusting one color. What they cared about was the content, the message, and that I actually delivered. Now, I know you might think, but isn't doing your best important? Absolutely, but there's a difference between giving your best and letting perfectionism paralyze you into never finishing. The key is realizing that your best doesn't always have to look flawless. It just has to be complete. This is about reclaiming your time, your energy, and most importantly, your mental peace. The next time you find yourself trapped in the cycle of overthinking, take a step back and ask, am I making progress, or am I stuck in the pursuit of something unattainable? The moment you embrace done over perfect, you'll unlock a whole new level of freedom and creativity. So go ahead, ditch perfectionism, embrace done, and watch how much more you can accomplish, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Number 2, The 4-hour workday, more efficient, less exhausting. What if I told you that you could get more done in just 4 hours a day and feel less exhausted at the end? Yes, you heard me right. 4 hours. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds impossible. But trust me, it's not just possible. It might be exactly what you need to break free from the endless grind and actually feel productive and energized. Let's dive in, shall we? We've all been there, right? You sit down to work with good intentions, but before you know it, the clock is ticking away and you're drowning in tasks. You've been at it for hours, but you're not even sure what you've accomplished. And let's not even talk about the burnout. The 8-hour workday is supposed to be the standard, but here's the catch. It's often a productivity killer. You end up wasting time on distractions, checking emails, and going in circles, and then you feel completely drained with nothing to show for it. We've all been trapped in that cycle. So, here's the game changer. The 4-hour workday. Sounds wild, right? But it works. And here's why. When you know you only have 4 hours to get things done, you focus. You don't waste time. You don't procrastinate. You cut out the fluff and tackle what really matters. It's about working smarter, not harder. And the best part, it forces you to prioritize your most important tasks and eliminate the unnecessary ones that usually drag you down. Let me paint you a picture. A few months ago, I decided to experiment with this myself. I was working a side project that I kept putting off because it felt like there was just never enough time. So I set myself a challenge. 4 hours, nothing more. I blocked out distractions, turned off notifications, and committed to just focusing. Guess what happened? Not only did I finish the project, but I did it with more energy than I would have had after an 8-hour day. I got done in half the time and felt better than if I'd spent the whole day glued to my desk. And I wasn't the only one. I started seeing it in others too. People around me who worked fewer hours were actually more efficient, more focused, and happier. Crazy, right? Here's the truth. It's not about squeezing more hours out of your day. It's about working with intention. It's about making those 4 hours count. And when you embrace this mindset, you're not just reclaiming your time, you're also reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your ability to enjoy life outside of work. Because let's be honest, life is happening outside of those 8 or more hours we spend staring at a screen. You deserve to experience it fully. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by your never-ending to-do list, try this. Start small. Break your day into chunks, set clear boundaries, and commit to doing less but better. It might feel strange at first, but trust me, embracing a shorter, more focused workday will give you back what matters most: your time, your energy, and your peace of mind. And remember, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. You don't have to spend 8 hours at a desk to prove your worth. Your time, your energy, your life, they matter. So go ahead, try the 4-hour workday. Your future self will thank you. Number 3, the unplugged hour, mandatory digital detox. What if I told you that taking 1 hour a day to completely unplug from all digital devices could actually make you more productive, more present, and, dare I say, happier? Sounds almost too good to be true, right? But trust me, it works. And I know it might sound counterproductive when we're constantly told to stay connected, but here's the thing: constant digital noise is actually draining us. Our brains weren't built to process that much information all the time. So let's try something a little unconventional: the unplugged hour. You know the type. You're scrolling through social media during lunch, checking your email before bed, and refreshing your news feed every 5 minutes. We've all been there, right? That constant buzzing in the background of our lives, making us feel like we're always on, always connected, always accessible. And while it feels productive in the moment, it doesn't actually fill us up. Instead, it leaves us feeling scattered, exhausted, and constantly on edge. We crave a break. But when do we get it? When was the last time you actually took a full hour for yourself without the pull of a screen? Here's the twist. The unplugged hour is about taking 1 hour each day to completely disconnect from your devices. No phone, no laptop, no TV. I know. You're probably thinking, but what if something important happens? Let's be real. The world will keep spinning for that 1 hour. But you know what else will happen? Your mind will slow down, your body will relax, and you'll reclaim the time that's been hijacked by constant notifications. It's not just a break, it's a reset. And guess what? It actually makes you more productive when you do plug back in because you're coming at things with a clearer head. Let me give you a little personal story. A while ago, I was feeling completely drained. It was the usual: work, emails, social media, and then trying to wind down, only to end up scrolling mindlessly through my phone until midnight. One day I decided to take the plunge and commit to 1 hour without my devices. I went for a walk in the park, just me and my thoughts. And wow, the difference was incredible. I came back feeling recharged, like I had just taken a mini vacation. I wasn't distracted by constant notifications or tempted to check my phone. My mind felt clear. The next day I was more focused, more energetic, and actually enjoyed the time I spent on my devices instead of feeling like they were controlling me. This is about giving yourself space. Space to think, to breathe, to reconnect with the present moment. We all know what it feels like to be overwhelmed by the endless cycle of digital noise, but it's in these small moments of unplugging that we actually start to regain control. When you unplug, you're not just breaking free from your phone or computer, you're breaking free from stress, anxiety, and constant pressure to be on. You're making space for your mind to just be, without the interference of the digital world. So here's the challenge. Start with 1 hour, just one. No screens, no distractions. Take that time for yourself to read, to think, to take a walk, or to simply sit and do nothing. Trust me, the world won't fall apart. In fact, you'll come back stronger, more focused, and with a sense of peace that you probably haven't felt in a while. Remember, this isn't just about stepping away from technology. It's about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your dignity. The digital world is always there, but your well-being is the one thing you can't replace. So take the hour. Reconnect with yourself. You deserve it. Number 4, automate everything. Eliminate non-essential work. What if I told you that you could work half the time and get twice as much done? Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it doesn't have to be. Trust me on this. Automating everything that doesn't need your direct attention could be the game changer you've been looking for. And before you start thinking, oh, that's too complicated, or that's for tech experts, let me assure you, it's actually easier than you think, and you're already doing it in small ways without even realizing it. Yes, really. We've all been there. You open your email, get distracted by a dozen notifications, and suddenly 2 hours have passed, and you've barely made a dent in the real work. Or you're doing the same task over and over, like sending the same reply to multiple people, organizing your calendar, or updating records, thinking that this is just part of the job. You know, the boring, repetitive stuff that eats up time without giving you anything in return. It's like running in circles but never getting anywhere. It's draining, and frankly, it's a waste of your energy. Now, imagine if all that time-consuming, repetitive work was automated. Not only would you be saving time, but you'd also be freeing up mental space to focus on what really matters, your actual goals and projects. Automating tasks doesn't mean you're taking shortcuts. It means you're working smarter, not harder. The simple things like setting up automatic replies for emails, scheduling social media posts, using tools that sort and respond to customer queries, or even automating your bill payments can take the load off your plate. And guess what? You're still getting the same results, but without the grind. I'll give you an example from my own life. A while ago, I realized I was spending a lot of time managing my social media, manually posting and responding to messages. I knew I needed to focus on content creation, but this endless cycle of checking my phone and typing out responses was draining my creativity. So I set up an automation system. I used tools that scheduled posts for me, set up automatic replies for common questions, and even used a bot to answer basic queries. The result? I saved hours each week and actually started seeing more engagement because I was focusing on the content that truly mattered. No more worrying about posting at the perfect time or answering every single message. It all just ran itself. This idea of automation isn't just about saving time, it's about reclaiming your energy and your focus. When you let go of non-essential work, you can pour more of yourself into what really moves the needle. Whether that's brainstorming new ideas, working on big projects, or simply having more time to rest. And let's be real, when you don't have to constantly worry about the little tasks, you start feeling more confident and in control of your day. You can breathe again. So, take a moment to think about everything you do in a day that could be automated. Your emails? Automated. Your social media? Automated. Your finances? Meetings? Reminders? Yep, all that can be automated too. The beauty of automation is that it's a win-win. You get more time for what matters, and you get to maintain your sanity. You don't have to be a tech genius to do it. Just a little bit of research and a few clicks, and you're on your way. This is about reclaiming your space, your time, and your dignity. You don't have to spend your days drowning in busy work. Automate what you can, and watch how much more you can accomplish, without the stress and without burning out. So go ahead, automate everything and eliminate non-essential work from your life. Your time, your peace, and your future self will thank you. Number 5, no meetings. Wednesdays, protecting your creative space. What if I told you that one simple change to your work week could unlock your best ideas, reduce your stress, and help you protect your creativity? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, trust me on this, no meetings Wednesdays could be your secret weapon. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, but what about all the projects I need to discuss? Or, how will things get done without meetings? Stick with me here. There's a reason this strategy is becoming a game changer for creative minds everywhere. You know the type. The ones who are always swamped with back-to-back meetings, hopping from one Zoom call to another, feeling like they're never actually doing the work. We've all been there. You start your day with a solid plan, but by the time you wrap up the first meeting, your energy is drained, your focus shattered, and your to-do list has barely moved. It's like you're just a passenger on a roller coaster of interruptions, and the worst part, your best creative moments never even get a chance to happen because you're stuck in someone else's agenda. So here's the unconventional twist. What if you protected your creativity like a fortress by declaring one day a week, let's say Wednesday, as a no meetings day? No calendar pings, no conference calls, no interruptions. Just you, your thoughts, and the work that actually matters. Imagine what would happen if you gave yourself that uninterrupted space to think deeply, to brainstorm, and to create without the usual distractions pulling you in a million different directions. I get it. You're probably thinking, but how will work get done? My boss will never go for it. Here's the thing, creativity and productivity don't thrive in an environment filled with distractions. Studies show that constant interruptions actually lower your productivity and cognitive ability. Giving yourself a block of time where your creative brain can roam freely will result in better ideas, more focus, and faster execution. Plus, you'll find that when you do come back to meetings on Thursday, you'll be more energized and better prepared. So really, you're doing everyone a favor. Let me give you a personal example. A few months ago, I was getting buried under a mountain of meetings. By midweek, I felt like I hadn't accomplished anything meaningful. So I decided to give this whole no meetings Wednesday thing a shot. At first, I was nervous. What if I missed something crucial? What if people needed me? But as soon as I gave myself that Wednesday, no calls, no interruptions, I was able to dive into the work I actually loved. I wrote, created, and even solved problems that had been sitting on my desk for weeks. The breakthrough: I was able to return to the rest of my work week with a fresh perspective, more energy, and a clear mind. It was honestly a game changer. Now, this isn't just about freeing up your time. It's about protecting your space, the mental space needed to do the kind of work that makes you feel fulfilled and passionate. We all have that urge to overcommit and try to do everything. But here's the thing. When you set boundaries like a no meetings Wednesday, you're reclaiming your peace and your purpose. You're saying, this time is for me and for the work that truly matters. You stop being a slave to other people's schedules and start taking control of your own. So think about it. What could you achieve if you had one day a week where you could just focus? Where you could dive deep into your ideas, create without pressure, and come back to your team more focused than ever? No meetings. Wednesdays isn't just about protecting your calendar. It's about protecting your mind, your creativity, and your productivity. This is your time. Your ideas deserve to breathe. And this is about reclaiming your peace, your space, and your dignity as a creator. So go ahead and try it. Give yourself that creative freedom. Because when you protect your creative space, the rest of your life falls into place. Number 6, delegate your life. Build a personal team. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that you don't have to juggle everything on your own anymore. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, what if I told you that you could actually delegate parts of your life and free up your mental space, your time, and your energy for the things that really matter? Yes, trust me on this. Building a personal team isn't as outlandish as it sounds. You're probably thinking, but how? I can't afford a personal assistant. Stick with me here. I've got a strategy that might just surprise you. You know the type, the overworked, stretched thin person who has a to-do list so long it could wrap around the globe. We've all been there. You've got work, errands, family commitments, social obligations, and the endless personal tasks that somehow seem to multiply overnight. It's no wonder so many people feel like they're burning out before they even get to lunch. Sound familiar? If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your never-ending list of things to do, I promise you, it's time for a change. So here's the big idea. Delegate your life. Now, don't worry. I'm not talking about hiring an expensive team of professionals to handle every little task. Instead, I'm talking about using your existing network, your friends, family, and even resources like local services or apps to help take some of the load off your shoulders. Imagine if you could hand over things like grocery shopping, scheduling appointments, or even meal planning, things that eat up your time and mental bandwidth, without worrying about how it's all going to get done. And here's the thing, delegating doesn't mean you're lazy or incapable. It means you're being smart about how you manage your energy. Let me paint a picture. A few months ago, I was drowning in responsibilities. I had work piling up, errands I'd been putting off for weeks, and a bunch of personal projects I just couldn't get to. That's when I decided to try this idea of building my personal team. I started by asking a friend to help me organize my schedule, and another to help me pick up groceries once a week. I even found a local cleaning service for the stuff I really didn't want to spend my time on. At first, it felt strange. I kept wondering, am I bothering them? Or Is this too much to ask? But after a week of delegating, I could feel the difference. I had more time for the work I loved, and I wasn't constantly stressed about keeping everything in balance. It felt like I had finally found a way to breathe. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great, but I'm not about to ask my friends to be my personal assistants. I get it. It feels weird to ask for help, but here's the key. Delegation doesn't just lighten your load, it empowers the people around you to help you succeed. You're not burdening them. You're letting them be part of your team. Whether it's a friend helping you organize your life, or using an app that takes care of menial tasks, everyone wins. And hey, your friends probably want to help you more than you think, but they just don't know where they can pitch in. Here's the emotional game changer. By delegating, you're showing yourself that it's okay to lean on others. You're telling yourself, I don't have to do everything on my own to prove my worth. It's about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace. This is where the growth happens, in knowing that you're capable enough to ask for support and wise enough to accept it. It's about shedding the weight of unrealistic expectations and creating the life you actually want to live. So, think about it. What parts of your life could you delegate today? Could you ask a friend for help with something or use a tool to take over a task? Imagine the freedom you'll feel, not carrying that heavy load alone anymore. Your life, your energy, your peace, delegate it, and watch how much more you can give to the things that really matter. Number 7. Ruthless boundary setting. Say no like you mean it. What if I told you that saying no could change your life? Sounds dramatic, right? But seriously, learning how to say no like you mean it can be a total game changer. Now, I know you're probably thinking, but I don't want to be rude, or I don't want to let people down. Trust me, I get it. But hear me out. Setting boundaries isn't about being harsh. It's about preserving your time, your energy, and your peace. Yes, trust me on this. Mastering the art of saying no is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. You know the type. The person who's always juggling one too many things, saying yes to every request that comes their way, and ending up overwhelmed, stressed, and burnt out. We've all been there. Maybe it's agreeing to help a friend move, taking on an extra project at work, or saying yes to an invite when you really just want to stay home and recharge. The problem with this? You end up giving everyone else your time and energy and leaving nothing for yourself. But here's the kicker. Learning to say no, and I mean really say it like you mean it, is a radical act of self-care. So here's the strategy: ruthless boundary setting. Now, don't freak out. I'm not talking about becoming a cold, unfeeling robot. I'm talking about being unapologetically clear about your limits. It's about recognizing that your time is precious, and if something doesn't align with your priorities or values, it's okay to say, no thanks. Here's why this works. When you say yes to things that drain you or add unnecessary stress, you're actually saying no to things that could make you happy, productive, and at peace. It's all about protecting your energy and being intentional with where you direct it. I'll give you a real-life example. A couple of months ago, I found myself caught up in a cycle of overcommitting. Work was piling up, friends were asking for favors, and I had no time for myself. I felt like I couldn't say no to anyone, until one day I realized I was on the brink of burnout. So I decided to start setting boundaries. The first time I said no to a friend asking for a favor, my heart raced. I felt guilty, but guess what? The world didn't end. They understood, and I felt a sense of relief I hadn't realized I'd been missing. Slowly but surely, I got better at saying no. I stopped over-explaining. I stopped feeling guilty. And most importantly, I started honoring my own needs. Here's the emotional payoff. Saying no is not about rejecting others. It's about reclaiming your space, your time, and your peace. When you start setting boundaries, you're teaching others how to respect you. And more importantly, you're teaching yourself that you deserve respect. This is about putting your needs first without apology. It's about not over-explaining, not justifying, and definitely not feeling bad for taking care of yourself. So next time someone asks for something and you feel that familiar, I don't want to let them down feeling, remember this: you don't need to sacrifice your well-being to make others happy. Your no is just as powerful as your yes. And when you say it like you mean it, you're not just protecting your peace, you're reclaiming your life. Your time, your energy, and your boundaries matter. So say no with strength, confidence, and clarity. This is your life, your rules. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope this video gave you some fresh insights on how to approach work-life balance from a more practical, grounded perspective. If you found this valuable, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It really helps out. And don't forget to subscribe for more content on topics just like this, where we dive into real, actionable strategies for a better life. If you know someone who could benefit from these tips, share the video with them. Let's spread the knowledge. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and share your experiences or challenges when it comes to balancing work and life. This is all about creating a community where we support and learn from each other. Remember, balance isn't about perfection. It's about finding what works for you and being kind to yourself along the way. Until next time, keep taking steps toward a life that truly works for you. You've got this.